and I literally just got a message saying, I know it's a rude offer, but all I have is £100.
Oh, what are you trying to sell it for?
150.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but it's just such a weird thing to receive. Like, I know I'm being an asshole, but I'm still gonna do this thing. And no,
he doesn't know how desperate you are.
Buying for 150% of what you're saying, you can go F off.
If you were leaving the country tomorrow and you just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly, right. So the thing is, I had in the first day of posting. By the way, this is Tanked Up, podcast all about craft beer and video games. I don't care if you keep this in or not. I just figured I'd get the intro just in case. I have a person who a few days ago said, I can only meet you on Friday, but I will commit to give you full price, and I'll pick it up from your house. And then since then, I've had a bunch of people give me various bullshit prices, or just be like, yeah, I'll pay for it. And then I kind of feel bad because it's like, why did I commit to 4 days in advance accepting an offer? So I sent them a note, and I'm like, you're sure you're doing this? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, cool. Then that's fine. But there's been people who are like, what's your best offer? I'm like, well, I have offers at 150, so I guess 150. Like, best price. I'm like, do you understand? Yes, I might have said 150 OBO, but you can't just say what is the best price. You have to pitch a price, and I will say either yes or no. It's not like I've secretly have a price that I'm thinking of. And if I say 150 OBO, you can then say, well, what's the actual price? No, that's not how that works. I'm saying I think the right price is 150, but if no one hits me up for 150, I'm talking about the evaluation.
Well, people want the best price for a doorstop,
But
why
do you think I'm trying to sell the fucking thing?
Well, I was going to say, this is the thing. It's crazy the amount that used butt plug goes for online these days, isn't it?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty fresh. It's not the sleek version or the X-rated version. It's just the regular.
A behemoth.
Version. Yeah.
The big black one you've got sat on your TV at all times.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's actually at this point been almost a year since I've turned it on.
Sounds right. I'd turn it on for Forza Horizon 4. Pay a quid, get Game
so
Pass.
the big thing is, I bought the last Horizon game, but because I bought it, I got it also free on the PC. So the last few times I've played it has been on my PC, so it's like, the last fucking Xbox game I played, they made it open to my PC. My PC has a 1080 card in it. It plays it better than the Xbox. Why would I return the Xbox?
Could you just pick the new one? Could you just pick the new one straight up on PC now?
So I think it's going to be released in the same way, where if I buy it I can buy it in both platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In which case, I'll buy it on that without owning an Xbox, but maybe one day I might have an Xbox.
Yes.
One day. Well,
One
the
day,
next
yeah,
Xbox will probably be
I
backwards
actually think that
compatible.
in the next month or so I might sell my PS4 as well.
Well, just shows how much you're using them at the moment, doesn't
Well, the
it?
thing is, I don't play them. I really wanted to play Horizon and still didn't finish it. And that's the last time I touched the fucking thing, which is a year and a half old game.
That's the Australian one, isn't it? Forza Horizon 3. Because this one's 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Forza Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. So Horizon Zero Dawn, clearly a good game. Didn't finish.
The best of 2017, some would say.
But it's been a year and a half since it came out, and I still haven't finished it. So that's one of the few reasons why I own a PS4.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I see Ben soon enough, he might lend me Spider-Man.
Oh yes.
In which case, I might hold on to the PS4 because that's the only way I can play the game. But I still didn't finish Horizon, which I suspect is a better game than Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'd say it's a better game.
Oh, by the way, we've definitely cemented that my offhand introduction to the podcast. Oh yeah, this is
it's totally we've totally started now. Hi, we're tanked up. Hey, Ben.
I'm Lucy. You know.
I just realized that we actually started getting substantively into games, and the only introduction was oh yeah, this could be a thing. But I really think so. I sold my eBayed off my Uncharted 4 and my Uncharted collection because I was oh, I'm not in a mental space to play these games, let alone in order. So I've kind of just given up on the Uncharted series.
That's fair.
And then it's well, what keeps me attached to the PS4? It's not playing Zero Dawn, which I recognize is a solid game, and the potential of something like Spider-Man. And then there's a bunch of PS Plus games that I can't access anymore because I let my subscription lapse.
I did as well.
I never played them. And I was okay, so now I literally... All these games, I was oh, this would be really fun to play. It's oh, well, now I can't play them because you only gave them for free so long as I paid you money. And now I clearly shouldn't be paying you money because I haven't been playing the games.
I suppose something like that isn't so bad. If you've got maybe 4, 5, 6 games sat there, which you haven't got to yet, to then just pay for maybe 1 month, which is what, £7? To pay for 1 month when you've got a backlog of games to be able to access that you want to play and get into, that seems like a worthwhile thing. But you've got to have the time to do them all as well.
There's I don't have the time. I need to just focus on getting this goddamn dissertation done. But also there's no, even with the couple of years I subscribed to, there's no clear subset of PS Plus games that I need to play. There's no highlights there. The highlights on the platform the ones I bought outside of it, and I still haven't played.
Exactly.
I own Zero Dawn in digital and still haven't played or finished it. And if that can't get me to play the PlayStation 4, nothing will.
You've also got my God of War, haven't you?
No, I sold it. My shelf, but I also haven't put it in the machine because part of it was oh, I should play these other games. So when you lent it to me, I was oh, I should probably look at Uncharted, this stupid idea of an ordering, and then since then it's I have no urge to touch this system. Play games, unfortunately. So the PS4 just is lower in the rankings.
My PS4 this generation was always going to be that machine where I can only play those really good games and nothing else. And when I let my PS Plus subscription lapse and I was playing Spider-Man, just going through my library to free up space, I was realizing, oh wait, I have literally 2 games on it. And then my PS Plus has lapsed. It's Uncharted 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's it. And the odd indie somewhere. But I think with the Switch, one console future, and then just the Switch on top of that.
I still don't play the Switch that much.
Yeah, I know you don't. I can tell.
I think I'm just a broken gamer. I think that's what it boils down
happens.
to. I'm just I'm in a moment where I'm in a stretch of there's other things involved in my life, and
there was a time where I didn't play games for years when I was just becoming a young adult.
Yeah, I'm literally 35 today.
A young adult.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's it. You've finally matured into a man.
Yeah, I'm a real man. I'm still a student.
World.
Yeah.
What the fuck is age anyway? Games are for babies, so we're obviously all fucking babies.
We're old enough to drink. That's all that matters.
Hooray! Let's drink. Let's drink.
Yes.
Lucy, what are you imbibing right now?
I am going to drink a beer from Brewdog.
Oh.
Yeah, called the Quench Quake. It's a grapefruit and tangerine sour, 4.6%. Picked it up from Tesco.
Is it?
I've just looked at the camera here.
Hey! I'll drink this one as well then.
We obviously planned this again.
Hey.
I'll just read the flavour text. Buckle up for this juice bomb of a sour beer. Juice bomb sour beer? Don't think I've ever heard those two in Sentence together. Anyway, the first tremor of tartness hits, then hold tight for a citrus blast of seismic proportions. Tectonic plates of lemon, tangerine, grapefruit, and tart apple agitate the pie crust and biscuit backbone.
Wow, that's a lot of things. I'm gonna make a prediction that it's not all those things.
You never know. I mean,
Pie crust.
Yeah, no,
That's
Yeah.
got to be a hard thing to pick out.
yeah.
I mean, I've heard good things about this beer from Brewdog. Heard that they've been stepping it up lately. I think the last Brewdog beer I had on here was it was a
Pink one?
collaboration between like them and like 10 other breweries or something like that, and it just tasted.
Oh, was it that? It was that 8-bit, which was 8 breweries, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
Was it that one?
A Brewdog led
I
8
think so,
brewery.
It was something like that.
brew, yeah.
So, I'm also having supermarket beer, which is the Thornbridge Jaipur India Pale Ale.
In a can.
I went away at the weekend and pretty much drank that and New World IPA all weekend.
Interesting. So I just picked it up because it was at my Tesco Express, and I thought this will be interesting. That's clearly a non-standard sort of supermarket beer, but also it's widely available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
If not in can, in bottle, certainly.
So the Jaipur comes with over 100 worldwide awards. This iconic American-style IPA has a complexity of flavors created by six-dimensional hop experience, which Chinook Centennial. God, fuck, this is the worst.
This is where those eyes need to.
Chinook Centennial, Antonym, Simcoe, Columbus, Cascade. Lemon zest and it's quaffable and honey and lemongrass and some Thai curry flavors. So I just thought it was interesting, given that like it was kind of this idea of both Thai and a bit of Indian,
Fusion.
yeah, like taste fusion on an IPA, which who knows how much actually translate in the taste. I just sort of bought the 4-pack out of curiosity. Basically, if you go to a Tesco Express, you can get one of these for the same price as like a 4-pack of Brewdog's IPA, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is new. I'm super curious. It's very clear, straw-colored, mild.
Yeah.
I'd say
Same as ours,
medium.
really.
Yeah.
So yours is much clearer, but I think we've got the same amount of carbonation.
Mm.
Like, if I put my finger
That's
through, you can still see through. While if you do, I think it'll be quite cloudy. I can't quite see the definition. of the
Slightly
finger.
cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Bit of haze
like,
to it.
I think they're clearish, but mine's like Jaipur is almost like a lager. Like it's just got this clarity with the water. On nose again, we've got sort of standard, just generic sort of IPA, quite light. It's got a bit of that bitterness, a bit of that centennial lilt just on the nose, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so super light. Super
Yeah.
light. I was expecting something with a little more depth.
Mhm.
Again, I've just had my first quaff. But it's... Yeah, it tastes like it looks. Like that clarity in the liquid is reflected by the clarity in taste. Like it's just sort of like, oh yeah, here's a hit of hops and then not much else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had Jaipur like only maybe last week or the week before. It's just like one of those, if it's in the supermarket, there's nothing else. I mean, I wouldn't go out my way to get it, but it's a very drinkable,
So I'm gonna continue
well-priced
hitting
beer.
it up, but like the fact that it had a handful of different hops is kind of not reflected. Like, yeah, I think it's. I mean, the Chinook and Centennial are there, but it definitely feels like a sort of more generic IPA. It's very clean, sort of has its notes, and then fades away really quickly and just leaves you with not a lot else.
Yeah.
It's fine, right? It's just like there's nothing lingering. Doesn't dry your mouth out. It's just like, hey, here's what a unique idea of an IPA, and then we're done. That's how
Yeah.
I would describe it.
That like Jaipur, along with the Northern Monk New World IPA, are absolutely fantastic, like gateway supermarket beers.
Yeah.
For sure.
That can kind of lead people away from, whether it be big brewed beers previously, whether it be bitters. They're kind of light enough that it can draw in like lager drinkers, but it has enough flavour to give, people who want a big hit, something.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a big hit, but it gives you something. It gives you something over other beers, especially other supermarket beers. I think maybe those two, some of the harbour beers that you can pick up. I've only seen them in Morrison's. I don't know if they're everywhere else. Like the Antipodean IPA, that's a really good beer as well. So
Some of the vacation beers.
yeah. I had
Oaken ales.
Dirty Lager, Dirty Pilsner. I can't remember what it's called.
Something Pilsner.
Yeah,
From
but that was
Vocation.
nice. Yeah, from Vocation. Yeah, really easy drinking.
Yeah.
Just super light, very refreshing. Just a generally nice beer. Not a huge amount going on, but very, very easy to drink.
Yeah. Speaking of easy to drink, when I first had a whiff of the aroma from the Quench Quake, I smelt something slightly metallic, and I was like, "Oh no!" But then it gave over to more lemon, like lemon sherbet, soon after.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Metallic taste not there, metallic smell gone. So that's a plus. But yeah, I'm actually really enjoying this. It's not a sour that's like puckeringly sour. It's not gonna blow your head off. It's not like some of the most sour beers we've had on this podcast for sure. It's very easy drinking. So you were talking about like gateway drug. I think this would be a gateway drug for sours. It's still got like still got like a poppy, lilty kind of taste to it.
So is it like hoppy but tart? Is that what you're trying to?
Yeah, it's slightly tart, but it's nowhere near as tart as a lot of other sour beers that I've had. You could, like most sour beers, you just want to sip and take your time with. I could see people like getting through this, probably, twice as quick as a normal sour because it's
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a bit. I don't know. I'm getting kind of lager like sensations from it as well, like more than
I'm
sour.
not. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not quite. I can see where the suggestion of Juice Bomb kind of comes. Like, it is a big kind of citrus hit.
Yeah, it's
but
very citrusy.
It does kick more into that sort of tart end of it. And what you're saying, there's that metallic taste. I'm still getting a little bit of that, but I think for me, it edges on that tartness, and it's that tangerine-y, citrusy tartness, which just goes over to feeling a little bit metallic.
Okay.
Not massively and not unenjoyably. I've had beers before where you have that big metallic taste and it just kills the beer completely.
Yeah.
This doesn't. It just right on the edge for me, I think. But that citrus kind of, it fades quite quickly, but still leaves you with that light sourness as well to kind of draw you back a little bit. Little dry, not super dry, but dry enough with that tartness kind of just remaining a little bit that you want to refresh your palate.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit moreish.
Yeah, I'm not getting much pie crust or biscuitiness or
No.
anything.
So given how many words were involved in the description, I'm curious how many of those like are involved, because it feels like, if I'm to paraphrase you both, the initial sort of moments of the flavor text are very obvious, the juice bomby parts, and then the rest are kind of more flavor text than flavorful descriptions.
Yeah, I mean, getting the tartness, getting the sourness, getting the citrus, getting lemon. I'm not picking up too much tangerine or grapefruit.
Really, not even the grapefruit. That I find interesting.
No, because I'm not picking. I'm picking up mainly lemon, and not much else.
It is a lot of lemon,
like a tart citrusness, but maybe not the one they isolated.
No, that's why I liken it to like lagers, because like lagers are very light and sessionable and have that slightly lemony taste to them. Tart apple, no. pie crust, biscuit. No, so I'd say they've probably got like 40% of the flavor texture. Yeah,
I think
Okay,
I
fair
think
enough.
for me, I'm getting a little bit of the other fruits, a little bit of grapefruit, just sort of sneaking through right at the end. And that tartness kind of sits right at the back of your mouth, and that grapefruit kind of comes maybe more on your tongue, just on the sides of your tongue, just a
I guess,
little
yeah,
bit.
just slightly, yeah.
Yeah, but that pie crust, the biscuity backbone, it's not really
No,
coming through either for me.
not present, but it's still a very easy drinking beer. It's like
Yeah.
I'm past halfway through already. It's very nice. I'd pick
So
this
am
up
I.
again for sure.
Yeah. I think it's like if I was in the mood for a sour, I think there's another couple of offerings. I think at least in the Tesco's that I was in, Thornbridge had a sour in there as well.
Right.
I don't know whether there were any others. These were the two that I'd sort of seen, but more beer styles are coming into supermarkets as well, which is good.
Good. Yeah.
Great for people to get a taster for it, to then go down to the bottle shop to expand and pick up obviously all of those breweries that don't feature in the supermarkets, and to develop a taste for certain styles or whatever, really. But
Yeah.
supermarkets are a brilliant place to kind of start, to then lead you in.
And they're definitely becoming more of a place, I think, is the key.
Yeah, like just recently Tesco started stocking new ones, and
Yeah.
there's pardon me, there was one from Vocation, I think it's called Love and Hate, in a 440ml can.
Yeah.
That's a like New England IPA. It looks the business. I haven't tried it yet. I really want to like track it down, see if it is in like my local Tesco. But that looks like something that you could pick up from a bottle shop for £5 or something like that. And
Yeah, I really didn't like it.
Love and Hate. Okay, I need to have a look at it and
It was
taste.
a bit more hate than love.
Happens,
I'm trying
right?
to remember why I didn't like it, but I can remember that I didn't finish it. Definitely
wow.
didn't finish it.
It's a bad beer then. Just rewind everything I said.
Yeah.
Try it. You
Yeah,
mentioned
because I do like Vocations beers. I mean, before they, did start getting mass produced, I really did like them. They were up there on my list, and it was like, oh yay, they're in Tesco, happy days. But I think the quality has dipped since they've up their,
Production.
scale, economies of scale and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was away like you, Ben, I'd pick up a few cans and just have a good old weekend with those. So,
Yeah.
if there was nothing else.
It's just as you did, Aadil, you pick up a quick 4-pack just off the shelf. It's just super easy, super convenient, isn't it? Which I guess supermarkets kind of want it to be, and they kind of want a little bit more of that market share, don't they?
So, like, Tesco had an offer where it was like a 4-pack of this and a 4-pack of Dead Pony Club was like £9 or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh,
Okay.
well, how can I, like,
It's good.
I'll try a 4-pack of something I know is all right and reliable, and a 4-pack of this, and like I won't be let down. Like they clearly know how to price these things. Brewdog is doing a very good job of like doing the 4-packs in the cardboard boxes, and like recognizing that this is a saleable thing. That's the thing
Yeah,
they
definitely.
used to do like a year ago. They didn't have these 4-packs, and now it's clear that they figured out what the market share is for craft beer in the wide setting, and they're just doing that.
Yeah.
Ah,
Nice. So
capitalism, woo!
we're pretty well through these beers, so let's jump on to some games. Aadil, as the returning party, have you managed to play anything? You've been very busy with dissertation writing and a few little trips and
so
things.
what I did want to talk about, which just briefly, because I've talked about the closed beta of a Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yes.
And now the open beta's been around for about a week, and I'm at this curious impasse, which is, of course, that when they switched from closed to open beta, they wiped your library.
Uh-huh.
So I made decks that worked all right with the cards I had, and then now I don't have all those cards, so I can't just immediately remake those decks. And so I'm sort of back at square one, redid the tutorial, got the free cards off the tutorial, and now I have these basic decks, which I know won't make anything useful. So it's kind of like, well, I'll just try and play a few, like, I could play a handful of games with these shitty decks to unlock some other cards, and then maybe I'll be able to make something interesting. But at the back of my mind, I'm like, well, at the end of this open beta, they're going to wipe things out, and then I'll just be at the same place.
So they're going to do that. They're going to wipe the open beta as well, are they?
Yeah, and so, like, I mean, I have to confirm that, because the part of it is just generic supposition, but I think I heard that they're doing the same thing after the open beta. But, like, that means that I have no urge to play in this middle ground, right? Like, I played a bunch in the closed beta. I made a couple of decent decks. And one of the reasons why I stopped developing those decks was knowing that there would be a future wipe. But now, if I'm in this middle ground, I have no satisfaction of any gameplay because I know it's going to be wiped. So I have just kind of like, nope, don't care.
That's the thing with betas, isn't it?
I haven't played the actual game when it comes out. And in a certain sense, I'm getting a free opportunity to play that game, but because it's based on like collection, like permanency really matters, and it's like it just sort of highlights for me like the tenuous nature of the non-cardboard version of Magic, like the fact that it's just digital and they can take it away at any moment. And so it's like, oh, my fondest memories on Magic are just playing with the random cards I had with friends, regardless of what like the meta narrative of like what's in cycle and what the big people are doing. And it's like you cannot do that with the digital game, because the digital game is hooked into the general cycle, and like you just, like don't have access to the old cards in the same way. There's no trading, right?
Yeah, I remember you saying last time we were chatting that you find sort of like drafting a slightly more enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I find drafting in the digital game more a fake version of drafting in the real world, because because like you're not drafting against people, so there's just a computer who's picking and like taking cards away from you. But then when you play that draft deck, those cards might not appear.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's just this idea of a closed system that they're trying to get away from because they want to have the most participation, and that's the exact reason why I'm sort of like the reason why I like Magic and drafting in general is because you don't get stuck in this like, well, you can just buy your way to the winning circle. But the reason why I don't like it in the online game is because when I draft a deck, or it's not that someone's chosen to take this card away from me, it's that they've arbitrarily taken it away. And then what really matters is when I play this deck, I'm not necessarily going to be faced with the deck someone built based on taking these cards when I might have wanted them. Like that nuance is different.
Completely. It doesn't replicate the experience that you enjoy. Yeah.
But moreover, right now in the open beta, it's just like, oh shit, this is a collection game, and I'm not sure my collection will last. Fuck it, I'm just gonna walk away.
How many hours did you think you put into the
closed
and open beta combined?
So the open beta has got to be less than 2.
Okay.
Because I've picked a handful of the starting decks, lost a couple games, and was like, well, honestly, I know I should have done my due diligence, but I didn't even look into whether they're going to carry closed beta into regular play, in which case, like, I don't have this issue. It was kind of like, I don't care. Until this becomes a real product, I'm not going to start collecting collecting cards, so I don't care. And so it's like, in the closed beta, I had a couple weeks where I played quite a bit, so I did it.
Yeah.
You need like 5,000 gold to play a draft. I probably played 5 drafts, which involves playing 3 games within the draft. Again, acknowledging that the draft isn't quite the same. And then in between those things, I played a bunch of just regular things just to like get the gold up or just play and experiment with a deck. it started to feel like what I liked about Magic, despite not playing with my friends, and then it was like, yeah, but also not this.
Just put, yeah.
I mean, but I think a large part of that had to do with like I had a deck that seemed to be okay against the random decks in like non-competitive things. It was like, oh, 60-40, I might win. And that mattered because I wasn't about to start putting money into buying cards because, of course, it was closed beta, but also I don't know what it means to buy cards in a strictly digital atmosphere. And so where I sort of waffle is like, I have no interest in playing this game using real money, regardless of whether it's in beta or not.
Yeah, but if you got your enjoyment out of the beta, then
yeah, for sure. And to be honest, it's most of it was like I played a bunch of this card game when I was really young, and then I played a little bit for about a year in my mid-20s when there was a resurgence, and this sort of scratches the same itch of like reminding me of those times. And I don't care if I have a super competitive deck. It's kind of just like, oh, I get this.
Yeah.
If I had other friends who were playing, I might have more of an investment when it became a real product. But up until now, it's just been sort of like the only reason I have an interesting deck is because it gave me enough like free pack opens or like spend coins that you earn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes it's nice just to, like reconnect with something that haven't played with it for ages. Like,
and what I think is super important is the fact that I played the card game.
Yeah.
But now me playing the computer game gives me the same sort of idea. Like, it does do a good mapping of like the rules of the card game, and it's very fluid, and it gives me the same. It scratches that itch, despite being digital, not physical.
Yeah.
Which the previous versions of Magic just didn't. So I think they've done a really good job of modeling the like rules of the game and making it feel like you're playing something similar.
Yeah,
even
that's good.
Yeah. It's like why we always, some foolish people like myself, rebuy like old Nintendo games. It's like, I'm gonna play through Metroid again, or through this or that, and you pick it up, play 10 minutes, and it's like, yep, I like this game.
Have you bought the Nintendo?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't.
The only person I know who might have bought that Nintendo membership thing is
Metroid's not even on it. So it's like Metroid's coming in like November or something. But it's like the only thing that I'd probably get it for is cloud saves. But I don't care if I lose any of my data on those games, because usually
what I did in
pick up something,
to
play
that
it, finish it.
announcement was install a couple emulators on my PSP, and play some good old fashioned SNES games on my PSP. Not even my Vita, just my PSP.
Yeah,
there's definite ways around it.
Yeah. I mean, hypothetically speaking, that's.
I'll get it eventually.
Of course.
I'll get it eventually, but
when
Metroid
the only game I've really played, and it's much more nostalgia bound. And I think if it was out now, I would have a lot more positive things to say, or interesting things to say, or be more interacting with the thing. But this idea that like betas wipe your collection, given that you can actually form a bit of a collection without paying real money. But then obviously when they do these wipes, so like the idea was if you could have paid real money in the closed beta, and they would have refunded that real money, and then you could use that to buy new packs. So like you could have bought a bunch of booster packs with real money, and then you lose all of that collection, but you get refunded that, and hopefully you draw a better or just as good set of cards.
They allow that. They allow that because ultimately the sale of a digital pack of cards costs nothing. So they can take that money, use it in their funding model, put it back into their
I think that's
the growth and the game development.
Work, right?
Exactly, and then essentially all they're doing is they might be giving you credits back. They're not refunding that money back into your bank account.
Oh, they're not refunding. They're just giving you credit.
Here's the money towards new packs.
You don't get money. You get the credits you can then use to purchase. So
that makes a lot more sense.
Is as you open cards, you build up towards wild cards, which you can exchange for a so you if you unpack enough like rares or mythic rares, you earn basically a mythic rare wild card, which means you can exchange that wild card for anything in the current like legal cards that's mythic rare, one copy of that. And then they do that for uncommons and rares as well. So you sort of earn these like placeholder cards at the same time, but some of the booster packs will also just give you a placeholder card. But the idea they're trying to give is like, usually you don't want one copy of a card in your deck. It doesn't help because it's 1 in 60 chance you get it. So you can have up to 4 copies of a card. So the idea is you can use these like wild cards to like build out your specific deck you've chosen, which I think is super interesting and kind of cool, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But again, it's this idea of like making a library of fake things.
Yeah, but
which I think
something I'm just
we're
thinking
at the point where people who play won't care that it's not real. But also one of the things that Wizards of the Coast is doing is so to have a complete set of. So we've got an expansion set, which is all the booster packs, right? Is all the cards. If you get 4 copies of each card in a set digitally, you can contact Wizards of the Coast and exchange that for
physical one, wasn't it?
For the physical one, but only if you have the entire set.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a way that they're trying to bridge the idea of like collecting digitally has a real world version. But what's interesting is like then you don't have the digital.
Yeah, I remember you saying they take the digital deck away and you almost got to start again because you wanted to
which
trade
I think
it in.
is like it's a really good like way of making people feel like all I have to do is collect and then I can get the real thing.
Maybe.
But like functionally because of the odds you won't ever get all the things.
Do you think there's like a big crossover between digital and physical players, or do you think they're making this game to try and push people towards the physical?
I think they're trying to capture a lot of the Hearthstone-y people.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think their core is going to be people who've played Magic in the past or play it now. And so why this is such a good version is because it actually like captures the stack, which is the order in which you can play a card on a card on a card on a card. And the previous versions of Magic was very clunky and like slow, and this is very like fluid and captures that really well. So you don't need to worry about like, well, what's the order of operations of if I cast a thing, then you cast a thing in response, etc. And then I cast a thing in response. That logic is clear in this game, and it all feels very fluid. And I think what they're banking on is Magic players doing this, and sort of like so like physical card Magic players probably will do this sort of just to keep on like sharp, because you don't have to worry about like going to Friday Night Magic or some other place and like finding the opponents with the physical cards. To do this is a way of like, I might not have the perfect deck because my perfect deck is physical, but I can make a facsimile or whatever, and I can keep sharp. And I can play the game whenever I want. And so they're trying to like bridge that gap of like people who give lots of shits about this and on-demand play.
It's like chess. Playing chess on a
except
computer.
like there's no real difference between playing chess in person and playing chess online. You don't suddenly lose the ability to use knights.
No, but you could set the computer to like 1,000 and
so what's
£3.99 for the Bishop's pack.
So some versions of some online Magic games have had computers, but like this one doesn't. Except for the tutorial, you're playing against other people.
Oh, you can't? Can you not play against a computer at all then?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
So you either play like you pay some gold or some gems, which are gold you can earn through quests and just playing enough games or winning, and gems you earn through like paying money.
How do you know the thing or person you're playing against online
Okay, so
isn't just like a computer there to mine?
So as far as they have made it clear, you
Coin
play
and
against
Magic the
people.
Gathering cards.
But like I think that's super important, right? And you can play in competitive draft, non-competitive draft, quick play, competitive constructed decks, etc. Like they have different ways of playing, and a lot of that has to do just with the seriousness of people.
Yeah, because I mean,
And
if
how
there's
much
no,
like you have to buy
Hmm.
into that type of like round.
If there's no play against like computer, this is definitely for like hardcore gathering fans then, rather than people maybe trying to get into it.
So I think they're trying to toe that line
Mm.
by having like non-competitive constructed and non-competitive draft as well. Is the idea of like you won't get huge rewards, but also your opponents won't be like assholes who know all of the things, right?
They might still be assholes. They'll just be on a similar level.
You know,
to
they're
you.
assholes who don't know all the things.
Yeah.
But I think what they're trying to do is capture that, like, so one of the problems with Hearthstone being around for so long is like, in order to be competitive in Hearthstone, you have to pay a lot of money. Like good decks just need the right kind of cards, and the only way to open them is to like pay money for a lot of packs until you get the cards. And so it seems like what Wizards of the Coast is trying to do is replicate what they have in the physical realm, which is like every week you can just get together at Friday Night Magic and play your deck against whatever, or you can play competitive draft, and there's a ranking system with that. And so they're trying to like make it in the same platform, make these ideas of like you could try and be the best in the world or the best in your region, or you can just try and have fun, and you'll have differing like rewards for that. But we're making it clear that you can play this game in these 7 ways.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Anyway, that's Magic. I think we've talked way too much about
It is,
game that neither of you two have played ever.
I don't know what this game is.
I think the one thing that maybe we'll come back to, that maybe we've actually chatted about before a little bit, that it kind of makes me think of, talking about the idea of a collection which can kind of just be like reset at any point. It's the same as any digital collection of anything. You know, tomorrow your Steam library can just not exist.
Fuck you, no it can't. There's like 1,400 games in that library. I
Hey.
hate you. Why would you say this? Now I'm panicking.
It'll be like you've been reborn. The only four popes got
honestly,
wiped.
That's it.
probably
You've shed all of those burdens.
But yeah, I mean, so I think what's even more interesting is like with Kindle, when they reissued a publication of like 1984 or something. I can't remember what the actual book was.
Yeah.
But like there was a version, and then there was a publication difference, and so they just pushed the publication update via the from the publisher to everyone. So there was kind of an erasure, and it became quite a hot topic in like digital rights stuff because no one has
Isn't it ironic that it would be 1984?
I think I might have made up the connection.
Let's leave it as that. It's so poetic if it was.
But like there was this moment where people who thought about digital rights were like, I get that you are obligated by your contract to make sure that when you sell this from point X onwards, it will be in this form. But that's a big difference between that and people in times before X was a thing, having to suddenly get their version changed. And that was a landmark moment in digital rights because it was like, oh, we don't really have an answer for why we thought we needed to push this update to people who already had the copy of the book, except that our legal, like, we were just thinking in the moment, our legal license was for this version. So anyone who was interacting with us at this moment, we felt like we should just push that version.
Yeah.
But it just ignores the temporality of these types of things. And I think it's the same problem with digital rights libraries, is this idea that like you don't own the thing, you own like the ability to have a copy of the thing, but have a copy is a fluxing thing. Same thing with like GTA 4 and San Andreas in the past 3 years have had huge updates on Steam because they've lost the rights to the music involved.
Oh yes, yeah.
And so, but it's like if I had GTA San Andreas and GTA 4 installed on my computer with the copies of those audio files installed, I've played it a couple times, whatever. What gives you the right to set to through a Steam auto update to take that away? It's just the same as if I own the CD-ROM.
Yeah.
Which is what Steam auto update does, which is different from I'm now reinstalling it and now I get like, so there's like the general idea of when I bought it, I had rights to these songs, and now I'm reinstalling it today and I don't have rights to those songs, and that's also a shitty thing. But the auto update is so much more precarious because it's like, when I installed this, if I installed it off the CD-ROM, I'd still have all these songs. But because I installed it off of you, you're now trying to push me out of having these things. And that's, ostensibly it's the same problem, but no, it's not. Because if I had bought it on CD-ROM, it wouldn't have this issue. And I have it uninstalled and reinstalled, so it's not that I'm reappealing to what you have license to. You're just telling me I no longer have access to this thing that I already had on my computer.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea that even now, perhaps, like you rarely get like CD-ROM drive games these days. You rarely get PC games as physical media, do you?
Not unless you live in, like, I don't know, the Czech Republic or something.
Yeah, it's all The Witcher.
Possibly. But even so, even if
Croatia,
you did,
I know, but
you know, you think of
Poland.
think of PlayStation.
I wasn't thinking about The Witcher when I said Czech Republic.
It was,
The
Witcher is Poland.
Yes,
The Witcher is Poland.
I was thinking of
Eastern Europe.
Amanita design. Anyway, I think there's. Sorry, Ben. Carry on.
What am I saying?
I don't know.
You're saying my co-hosts are pseudo-nationalistic racists, but in a fun way? Question.
Whoa. Physical purchases versus a digital one. Even now, even when you put Spider-Man in your PlayStation, if it's hooked up to the internet, it will patch it.
Yeah.
You know, the only way that you're not getting some kind of forced update these days is by disconnecting your machine to the internet.
Physical media is so pointless. Sorry, I just have a real gripe how it's like putting a disc for Spider-Man and they have to download.
Exactly why there's the point of why physical media might be useful, right?
It's
like,
not.
If I own San Andreas or GTA 4 on physical media, I wouldn't have to worry about these radio stations, which honestly, in the way these games are designed, are kind of integral to like enjoying it. Like part of the
GTA 4 didn't have the best soundtrack. Sorry, I'm just negating everything you guys say.
Yeah. But like it's clear that like even if it's a shit soundtrack, it still played a good role. And so the game changes when I no longer have the same thing. I'm playing a slightly different game.
Yeah,
and so,
I agree. Yeah, I just try not to think about this digital future and how nothing matters and how everything will be white.
I've always been a big proponent of Steam versus other things. That's why I've been buying games on Steam for over 10 years, right? Like, I think it makes sense. I don't want the waste of plastic. I like the ability to install these games whenever, wherever. Yeah. But there is this flip side which we rarely really bump into, except on these like music rights type things in general, but like it's not the same game I bought.
No, and some games are just taken from the storefront.
Like, so what's nice about Steam is like
Mutant Ninja game.
Yeah, the TMNT games died, but if you bought them, you can still install them. So that's a big difference, right? Steam isn't revoking access when the...
It doesn't remove it from your library.
No, it doesn't, because you own it, right? The idea is
it's not there to buy.
Once the license expires, you can't buy it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of like, it's shitty, but like, so I've had the those Marvel games, multiplayer, side-scrolly.
Spider-Man!
X-Men.
No, post-X-Men, Marvel.
Captain
fuck.
Underpants.
Oh,
I don't know.
I really like.
Are you on about that MMO or something?
No.
Heroes, was that Marvel
Something
Heroes?
like that. That
was
got
the
shut
MMO, wasn't
down
it?
after like
Yeah, it's not the
6
MMO,
months after it
it's
came
the,
out on console.
Yeah.
Mm.
Not a
Side
very good
scroller.
business model.
This really bothers me that I can't. Ultimate Alliance, the Ultimate Alliance series.
Oh, there's a fighting
Heard
game.
of it?
There's like you
Is it a brawler?
play a plot through, and you can either play by yourself or with a partner, and there's different ways of playing, but there's a progression system. They're fantastic. I love them. They're the best licensed Marvel games. Ultimate Alliance.
You haven't
1,
played
Ultimate Alliance
Spider-Man.
2. But those games had a time on the Steam store, then they disappeared, then they reappeared, then they disappeared again because of licensing.
Okay.
But at any point, once you've bought them, you could reinstall them, right?
Right.
I think that's super important for the digital platforms is that, like, there's never a non-access. But having said that, there kind of is with like these GTA music licenses, right? Like, you're playing a different game, which like substantively is mostly the same, but also isn't. You put a bunch of bullshit music that isn't licensed to fill the radio stations, and you're not playing San Andreas.
Yeah, I mean a lot of those games do rely heavily on their soundtracks for the tone.
Yeah.
Of whether
but
it's
what I
like
think
a set
really,
piece.
I remember in like pilot
city.
school, like listening to like "Sweet Child of Mine" and stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
But I think what's even worse is the fact that when you buy the game, it's not made clear that it might be the case in the future that the music might not appear.
Imagine telling us in like 2004, it's you can't listen to
but like I
deep
think that's
cover by Dr. Dre and San Andreas.
But I think that's super important because like when I was sold this packaged game that especially at that time was supposed to be identical to the PS3, Xbox, or CD-ROM version. Right? And actually what I was being sold was the rights to this game, which is a fluid thing. And so I actually do have to question which parts of this game do I have access to, which, is just the music, but also is the music.
I wonder if people think about it a little bit more now that, say the next GTA game, they'll have thought about
There'll be no
rights.
Music.
Either that or they'll have the right for an extended period of time, whatever they would deem, like 25 years or something like that, or 99
like a longer
years,
window,
like a longer lease sort of thing. Rather than just a 10-year kind of period, because they know that even now it's an issue. So at what point doesn't it become an issue? And that is kind of, I suppose, where they'll try and tread that ground. And the next batch might be 20 years.
So if I
buy rights
got
for,
what I wanted, I'd be okay with limited licenses. But if I similarly to like the say like it with the Ultimate Alliance games, right? When Atari lost the license for Marvel characters, you could no longer sell it. But I owned it and I got it, right? I think this same type of rights should be with music towards characters and other IP. So if the game can't retain all of those licenses, you can't sell the game anymore. But if you own the game, you get all of those licenses. Where I have a problem is this idea that when I bought it, I had a license to all of these tracks. And then somehow time has passed and my purchase means something else. And I get why that makes sense contractually between the two corporations, but it's really unfair to the consumer. And so if I bought San Andreas today and they said, you don't get all those tracks, you get these other radio stations, that'd be okay. But the fact that when I bought San Andreas, I had rights to these tracks and suddenly I don't anymore, I mean, it shows like how the intellectual property law and like digital rights hadn't caught up with each other. But I also think like what matters is you need to keep your like content secure, right? In the same way as like when the Deadpool a game was sold, it was sold and then they lost the rights and it was not on any of the marketplaces in any of the consoles. And then because the movie was successful, they renegotiated things and
Yeah,
buy it again.
Can they
right?
remaster it?
I mean, they didn't actually. The initial re-release wasn't a remaster, and then they did because it was sufficiently popular.
Yeah.
But the point is,
That's a cool game.
the company who made it re-secured the rights based on contractual law. But if I was a Steam owner of that game in that interim period, I still could download and install it, and I got the whole game.
Yeah.
And I think what the game companies need to do is view these as kind of like lump sum bubble products. So we're negotiating all the rights to this. And I recognize when you have a bunch of like radio stations with real songs, that's difficult, but also that's what you're selling, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's
Good.
the games I've been playing and whining about. I just haven't talked about anything you guys have been playing, so I suggest maybe we go to beers and then you guys can tell me what you've been playing.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I've got it sat in front of me. I'm sort of ready to go. I'm ready to go. I bought again from the supermarket. I believe this beer is just called IPA, and it's from
All right.
it's from Crate.
Oh yeah.
I've not had a beer from Crate for a while, and when I did, it was bottled. It must be a few years ago now. I can't remember whether it was a bottle shop purchase or it came through like a mail order service, but it's canned now.
Okay.
I think they had about 3-4 different styles in Tesco. It's 6%. It suggests, where's the flavour text? It's not really about the beer, I don't think. There is always something brewing at Crate. We're all about fresh thinking and fun doing. It's what gives us our unmistakable flavour. What can start with a crate of beer? Open up. Water, malted barley, wheat, hops, yeast. 6%. That is all I get. I picked this up because the last time I had a crate beer, didn't really like it. And I've never wanted to, nor have I picked another beer up from them. So I thought I'd try it.
Okay. Fingers crossed for you then.
Yes.
What do you got there, Lucy?
I am also drinking another supermarket beer. I believe it's from Sainsbury's. It's called Ghost Dance. Quite a striking can. Got a Native American
I like
on it.
that.
It's very nice. It's a Chinook Pale Ale.
Okay.
Flavor text: Chinook Pale Ale, New World Pale Ale, Galena, Amarillo, and Chinook hops combined to bring this bold New World IPA to life and deliver a powerful hit of exciting hop character. The Ghost Dance shall reunite the living and the dead to bring peace, prosperity, and unity to all Chinookan tribes. It's 5.3%.
Powerful beer there.
So hope so.
While you guys pour that, I'm drinking the Siren Craft Brew Cold Brew.
Oh yeah,
It's
a
coffee
bottle of that.
farce beer.
See, if only we had actually planned things, I would have put that in the fridge.
Yeah, but we haven't.
No.
I drank that one.
We first made cold brew as part of Project Barista 2018. It's a light, dry, and drinkable black lager, but sure packs a flavor punch. We cold steep the malt for coffee and chocolate notes without bitterness, hopped delicately, and again cold steep Brazilian coffee. This time for a host of fudge, caramel, and soft fruity flavors. Find out more at blah 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 blah. It's a 5% ABV. It's a cold steeped coffee Schwarzbier.
Schwarzbier, yeah.
Schwarzbier. Yeah, and a lot of Siren's coffee series have been really nice. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean that's actually the reason why I saved this one for the pod is because I've had a few of Siren's coffee-ish things. And this is for my last Beer 52 delivery. It immediately on the pour, I get these wonderfully fruity, sort of plummy coffee notes. So toffee coffee, right? So the sweetness that comes with beer, that doesn't necessarily come with an initial cold brew, but like it clearly is a coffee beer. I'm gonna leave it there, let it settle with the head, and go to Ben.
Yeah.
Oh, back to me. It's very malty. I was expecting a bit more of a hoppy hit, I suppose, with it being an IPA, but it's super, super malty. You get that in the nose straight away, and on the flavour, I'm getting this sort of light, almost not quite biscuity. It's not quite sort of buttery. It's not a base, but it's a bit maybe slightly wheaty, perhaps. Not much, but a little bit of sweetness, slightly. But it's all the malts, all coming through from that.
But not biscuity. So quite malty, but not biscuity. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's slightly biscuity. There's this like slight sweet wheatiness to it.
Is it wheatly?
Which almost wheatly. Where's wheatly? No, makes me think a little bit of slightly of a digestive, not too much.
I was gonna ask. So in the like, never mind. Yeah, so slightly. I was gonna make a weird analogy, and I realized that it's too esoteric.
So just far too out there for anyone to pick up. It fades quite quickly. It does kick in a little bit to a slightly bitter flavour. Not big, but it just kind of sits there in the background. That's probably maybe what the hops are trying to kick up a little bit of. But interesting that they've not sort of given me much more information. They do have, I noticed as I put the can down, they do have this little diagram on the can.
Oh yeah, that's pretty.
Which suggests sort of what it's leaning towards. I'm not sure whether the camera picked it up, but it leans a little bit to more. It suggests it leans a little bit more towards sweet, and just as much hoppy, with a really low malt. They suggest on there. So I don't know whether the Quench has just fucked me up in terms of what I can taste.
Right.
I think I might have the same problem over here.
It does. Oh, actually, there is a little bit of flavour text underneath that. Complex and bold with lots of juicy hops. One to sip, sup, and savour. I don't think I'm going to do any of those things. I'm going to gulp it and get it down quickly, but
well,
I'm not getting much juice. Not getting much juice.
While Ben contemplates those last flavors, Lucy, what is on your plate? And by the way, I assume you've poured your beer into a plate.
Yes, and sapping it up like a cat. Yeah. Mine is very clear. It's as clear as your last.
It is. It's clear as the Jaipur. It looks like.
Yeah. It had quite a frothy head. It took a few seconds to go down. The smell is very slight citrusy. Ness to the aroma. In the taste, you're getting a bit of bitterness, bit of maltiness on the back, but it doesn't really do much. I mean, there's nothing outstanding about it.
Beers where there's a taste, but it doesn't linger, so you don't have a lot to do, or you're exactly right. It's like you have a little bit of taste at the beginning. I don't think it's very citrusy.
What was it? A chili pale, wasn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't really taste of much. It's ultimately very forgettable. It's like there's not much to it at all.
I mean, I'm going to try and enter this term into the tanked up lexicon, which is light in a way, where it's like there's a taste and then it like fades away immediately. It's light,
I agree.
And it just fades away. And I think we've had a handful of beers like that over time. And I coined this and immediately was like, I can think of 7 beers I've had which have this property. So I think,
yes, it is light in a way,
bad, right? It's just, it's just not going to make a mark.
I'd say it's probably worse than light in a way because it's like you're not even getting any flavour to begin with. It's like,
just a way.
Yeah, it's just a way. It's like I'm not getting. I am slightly bunged up. I probably sounded even more nasally on tape, but I'm not getting anything. Unfortunately, it's like the Quench Quake. Definitely getting those sour, tart notes, and
Right, yeah.
this nothing at all. Maybe Brewdog is. Maybe that's their plan all along. Just sap your taste buds. So anything else after just tastes awful, and then you just buy Brewdog.
Well, I'm
just go back to it.
because
Yeah.
it sounds like you were disappointed, and that's why.
Yeah, I really am. I mean, I didn't really have high hopes for this beer. Who's the brewer?
No apple pie crusts.
No.
I say that because high hopes. High up in the.
I don't even know who the brewer is. I don't know who the brewer is. Does it say?
It's good. It's got to say.
Does it?
Tesco's?
Ghost.
Mr. Sainsbury.
Maybe it's. No, Ghost Dance is the name of the beer. Maybe it is just Sainsbury's own brand beer. I don't know. My mum bought this, so I have no idea.
It's got to be brewed somewhere by
I
someone.
don't know. No, it just appeared. Someone did a
Like
ghost
a
dance and it just
ghost doing a
appeared.
dance.
Yeah, like I might have to Google this one.
It looks like it's by Mondo Brewery.
It doesn't say anywhere on the can that it's from Mondo Brewing. Nowhere.
Well, there could be another Ghost Dance, but I mean, like the top hits are on Ghost Dance beer are Mondo Brewery.
Ooh.
Literally nowhere on the can.
Maybe it is a ghost beer.
I was gonna say maybe it's literally a ghost beer.
Am I alive?
Is anyone?
It doesn't say anywhere on the can who makes it, unless the name is of the brewer is Ghost Dance, but that's the name of the beer.
Who knows these days, Lucy?
Yeah.
I'll send you a £10 check if you find this anywhere, and you can tell me who the brewer is.
Can you show me just in the camera? Yeah, it's definitely not the same beer that comes up because that's clearly a different beer.
Ah, so not
Who
Mondo.
made this?
Jesus.
I'll scan it in Untapped.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's an Aldi. It's an Aldi special.
Right,
I'm
that's fine.
Chinook Ghost Dance. I get it's an Aldi special.
Okay.
Brewed by Aldi Stores UK is an IPA.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, I mean.
No, but I know that I'm not offending any particular brewer. It's not good.
The thing, so if you do go on Untapped,
I must talk to my mum and
I've had a couple of beers
have word
made
stuff.
for Aldi. And if
Yeah.
you put them in on Untapped, it will bring up the collaboration brewer that they're made with.
So it looks like it's. Yeah, I mean,
So with the speed that these two can bash it into Untapped, if you can come through on Twitter at @tanktap_cast and tell us who it's brewed by, right this second, you'll be quicker than anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Well, that
it
makes
seems like it
sense.
might be a brewery special. I'm sure there's a brewery behind the
Yeah.
scenes, but there.
I
I mean,
I don't think I've had many beers from Aldi. I know Lidl do pretty decent beers. Quite a lot of lagers, I think they do Lidl, but they do some decent ones for the price.
I
you
enjoy
can buy
the
£1.
Pilsner from Aldi, but that's about it.
I don't think I've had
yeah,
that.
I actually am surprised, given that like pilsners for me tend to be variable, but like the grocery store special pilsners in this country are not bad.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they're just as good as
They're
any of the lagers that you know, Stella, Beck's, anything like that. They match up to those for almost half the price. You know.
Yeah, nothing to say there.
You guys, have you had the cold brew by Siren?
Yes.
As I haven't yet. It's still there to
A
be.
while ago, though, a little while ago.
So I'm actually surprised that it doesn't have so much of a coffee taste.
Yeah.
I thought it would have more, given that it's a coffee cold brew, and it just doesn't. I mean, it has a. It's first of all, it's really light as far as like. So I mean, it's a thick beer, but like having a sap doesn't give you like tons of character or layers that I would expect from a coffee stout, for example.
Bless you. Bless you.
Feel free to edit that some way.
Nah.
It's fine. I've been sniffing all this time.
So it does have that a bit of some toffee notes, but it definitely has that biscuitiness. But all told, it's actually quite a light coffee beer. Like it's actually super drinkable.
Yeah.
God damn it!
It's clearly done something to you.
You got magic to it as well.
Yeah, apparently. I like super surprised because it doesn't have that. God damn it! Never mind. Yes, it apparently I'm allergic to this. Fuck off. I'm gonna say no more. Let's talk a little about Magic the Gathering. I don't have to care.
No.
About this tasty coffee beer. It's oddly coffee-like, but light in a really great way. Because, oh god, I might sneeze again.
As soon as you start to talk about just the beer, it builds.
Yeah, I actually am super surprised that it retains these coffee characteristics, but it's actually quite light in the sense of like I could easily drink quite a lot of it. Like it doesn't have that heaviness that we associate with like coffee stouts, for example. Or
is it
espresso
quite
stouts.
bitter? Or...
No, not at all.
No. Okay. Nice. Look forward to tasting that one.
Yeah, so it has sort of the high notes of coffee without the bitter notes of coffee.
Yeah.
It's not too sweet, right? It's not a sweet beer. But it's not bitter, and it's sort of like a it's like it definitely tastes like coffee, but it tastes more like an iced coffee than a regular coffee without being like a sweetened iced coffee.
Yeah.
And I think that's a thing to make clear is like it doesn't taste sweetened, but it does taste like a cold coffee. So most of the time when you get an iced coffee, you get it artificially sweetened.
Yeah.
But the core taste is sort of what the cold brew is about, and I think it does it really well.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll leave it there because I might sneeze again.
Very nice.
Let's move on then, Lucy.
Yes.
I've got one game to talk about, which we can finish on. But let's hear what you've been playing first.
Yeah, I played this a few weeks ago. It's what I wanted to speak about on
and you've kept it from us this long.
Yes, I have. But it's not a game that came out recently. I think it came out a few months ago.
Okay.
It's
Super
called
Mario
Jaipur.
Brothers 2.
No, that's a hard game. Could never finish that.
Those goddamn turnips.
Yeah. Such a weird
You
game.
run out of turnips, and then what do? They're still bad guys.
Throw potatoes at them.
You just put it down
Throw
like I do.
potatoes.
Pick another vegetable. I don't know.
No, you hope you will dig up a like weird bubbly red vial so you can go into the other realm.
Bizarre.
Because at the end, and then what you earn, this was all a dream in the end. Fucking worst Mario game ever.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of what I played of it. It's very hard. But anyway...
What did you play, Lucy?
I played a video game.
What? I thought this was a board game. I thought we transitioned to just
We fucked it. Yeah.
Card game, yeah.
And by that you mean like one of those VHS murder mystery adventures? Proper video game?
Or FMV game.
Sorry, I've been away for too long. I can't help hearing the basic tenets of this podcast.
It's fine. It's a video game. But it's a mobile game. Mobile video game. It's called G30. It's only on iOS platforms. I played it on iPad. I was speaking to you about this, Ben, and you said that it's not on Android, which is unfortunate. Maybe it'll come to Android in the future. Not sure.
This was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? That we said about.
Yeah, we briefly touched upon it. But the whole crux of the game is it's ostensibly a puzzle game, which is quite narrative heavy. And the way the narrative unfolds is quite interesting. Go into that a bit later, but the main mechanic of it is you're basically rotating dials. As you rotate the dials, a picture begins to form. So it could be a picture of like a bird, a dog, a heart, a brain, stuff like that. And these things that these real world objects are quite intrinsic to the overall narrative, to the overall story.
Right.
The mechanics, they get a bit, they get a bit more complicated the longer you go through the game. You have like different coloured wheels and dials, and sometimes moving one dial will move another a certain way. Like you move one clockwise, it'll move it anti-clockwise or something like that. So they do get a bit more layered and more complicated. I will say towards the end, I was getting a bit frustrated with it because it's like I didn't quite grasp some of the more intense mechanics that were in the late game. And for a few of the puzzles, I was just, just going in blind and just trying to do it just out of pure luck, rather than any kind of strategy or anything like that. And I think if you actually take the time to learn the mechanics, I'm not sure if the game does a great... it doesn't introduce you to these new mechanics in such a great way. It's actually like, oh, I'm on a new level. Here's a new mechanic. This is how it works. By you figuring it out. There's no like tutorial like. There's no handheld or anything. Yeah. So it's down to you to understand it, and if you get stuck, maybe go back to a previous level and try and really understand the mechanic.
How the game works. At the level.
Yeah. And but that being said, I think what carried me through those later levels was certainly the narrative. I don't want to get too... It's a bit tough. I don't know. I don't want to get too spoilery because... I don't know how to tackle this.
There is a narrative of some sort? Spoil?
No. And I think...
I mean, it seems like the simplest way of saying I don't want to spoil things is there's something I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, but the thing is that the narrative is very crucial to the game. It's like, you could look at this and it's just like, oh yeah, that's another puzzle game. I first played it when I was at EGX and just walked over and started, playing it on an iPad that was there. And it's like, this has got a cool visual style, which I've got the game here. Ooh. I'll actually just show it to you. It's like on a black background for the listeners. And you got different colours, like different. It's quite
What's
vibrant.
It called again? Sorry,
G30. So it's just G30.
I did check. Still not available on.
No, yeah. I mean, it only came out maybe 5 months ago.
So that I could refresh it over the weeks.
Yeah, but yeah.
And the top response is BMW 5 Series G30.
Yes, it is. Yes,
that does not help.
Yeah, but the name of the game does hold reference later on. Some people, if you know about this already, then you might, understand what it means. But for me, I'm a dumbass, so I don't. And
are you saying you don't pay attention to the BMW Corporation and their models?
No, I have an Audi, so no. But it's... Where was I? You see, this is why we can't have a deal. So
it seems like what you're trying to say, if I can paraphrase, is there's some interesting puzzle mechanics which you might be able to go into detail with because you kind of glossed over. But what makes it super interesting is the narrative mechanics which you don't want to go into because you don't want to spoil.
Yeah. So it's basically recounting an experience of one person. And as you're rotating the dials and you're starting to form pictures, you basically get text on top of at the top of the screen, recounting a story. Right. And once you... It's really hard to explain. Once you start piecing in those words, like the sentence structure starts to change depending on where you rotate that dial. So,
interesting.
And it starts to change the meaning. So you can have one sentence like saying, I went into an underground station and I saw a policeman. And that's how it starts off. And then you start to rotate it more and start to get that picture a bit more, which could be a picture, which turns out to be like a picture of the gun. and it's like it starts off very, innocent, like, oh, I went to an underground station and the policeman was there.
Yeah.
You start rotating, it's like, oh, actually, I was running down into the underground to escape from the policeman, and
Right.
stuff like that. So it changes
The actual meaning of this.
it changes the syntax, the structure of the story, and in each time in each puzzle you get like several words that you have to highlight, and these words then get put into like a database, which tells like a complete story, like, out of no ambiguity from the other narrative. What actually happened? Yeah, gives you the raw story, and it's a really, really interesting take on.
So it's kind of like it starts with an unreliable narrator, like Succeed, it gives you the reliable narration.
Precisely, yeah, and there's a reason why that narrator is unreliable, and that ties into the whole meaning of the game and what G30 means. And as I say, I don't want to.
Yeah, it means fucking BMW owners are assholes and they're liars.
Yes,
Yeah.
That is a criticism.
That's super
but yeah,
interesting.
it is. Yeah,
I'm now kind of annoyed that it's not on Android.
Yeah, and I think even if it was on PC, it could work on PC. It's really good with like the touch mechanics, because the rotation and everything
Also,
like that.
Touch
But
mechanic, he charged me double for the
Quadruple for a BMW.
Yeah. I enjoy it. Like, Lucy, you haven't been around me. That wasn't worth an actual stop of conversation.
Yeah, but I won't go into it anymore because, as I say, I just want to
really
leave.
Cool. And so, I mean, I'm super into narratives and like the sort of unreliable narrator Rashomon type idea is something that I feel like has only been been overexplored in like shitty movies, but not really explored as much in games.
Yeah.
The idea of like a game which not only sort of explores it, but also gives you like the quote unquote textbook. This is what actually happened. Sounds really appealing because it's like, well, even if I don't agree with like how you interpreted someone's point of view, you're still giving me the strict regular gameplay at the same time. So it's super interesting. Just wish I had a phone.
Yeah, I'll
who's
keep
the developer?
Oh, I think it's just one guy. I'd have to check for you.
Let's give him a shout out. Let's give him a shout out now and tell him that Android is the future.
I'll tell you what. I'll get it by the end of the podcast, and I'll give a shout out what his name is. But yes, definitely check it out. It's definitely the narrative that pulled me throughout the game. But yeah, I'll keep a lookout. See if it comes to Android in the future. But yeah, definitely recommend it. And speaking of unreliable narrators, I think one game that did that really well was the Tales from the Borderland game from Telltale.
Really? Yes,
I definitely haven't played. I stopped giving a shit about Telltale games like 7 series ago.
So did everyone else, and that's why they're in the position.
That's why they're fucked.
But definitely recommend you play
I really enjoyed Wolf at the Door, or whatever that's fucking
Wolf,
called.
The Wolf at the Door.
I don't remember what it's called. I really enjoyed the first 3 hours of that game, and then didn't finish it. Is what I was gonna say.
Who is it? Oh, it's a wolf. Game done. Done. Instantly finished.
3 little pigs.
I thought I had promised
the wolf among us.
So honestly, after I get bored with that game, I stopped playing Telltale games entirely.
Yeah.
And so when there was new seasons of The Walking Dead, I was like, meh, Wolf at the Door seemed to be okay. But
that's the thing about Telltale. It's like, it's a shame because they had hits amongst the misses. It's like, and up until the end, like Batman season 2, like some of that season isn't great, but like the last episode of that was fantastic, and it's like.
But I think so. I think give me one of those series, and people will say there's a good episode in there, but not all the episodes are good.
I'd say,
and I think that had like. As you rolled through the series, and that was continuously the like critical updates was like one part of this is good, but the rest not so much. It was like, well, that hit critical mass where it's just like, well, no one wants to play multiple episodes of a thing for one good episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit like the Marvel Netflix series as well. Like, you're like, yeah, there might be good episodes in these things, but there's a lot of trash in the middle, and that's why they sort of lost steam in this past year. Like, do you remember the first like season of Jessica Jones, second season of Daredevil, first season of Luke Cage? Those were like moments, and now we've had Jessica Jones season 2, Luke Cage season 2, Iron Fist season 2,
which is apparently good. Apparently,
Iron Fist season 2 was okay.
I've heard. Oh,
but like my point
well, that's an improvement.
Better than the first season.
My point is, yeah, it doesn't take much. I mean, so one of the things that like, so one initial point, they lost their cultural cachet because it just became a blah thing. This is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I think the Telltale games had the same sort of problem, which was there is a moment or two where people might talk about, but overall people are just tired of talking about how parts of this was good and the other parts weren't. With respect to Marvel Netflix, I think one thing that, like, having just finally recently watched part of the Defenders was, oh, I get what you were trying to do with Iron Fist season 1, which was doubling down that he's a whiny idiot who never aged from the age 10, so it doesn't understand how the world works.
Yeah.
And the Defenders made it very obvious when it was like, everyone's like, shit, they want you for a thing, maybe you should back off. And he's like, I need to fight! Like, it's like, oh, you don't understand how, like, you don't understand how to reason outside of the immediate. And it's like, oh, that helped me understand why Iron Fist season 1 was so shitty. Was because I thought he was a superhero, and actually he was a whiny bitch with a fat and glowing hand. And I think that's all they meant to do. But they just they weren't clear that they were also understood that he was a broken person with like really short-sightedness.
No, completely. Yeah, they didn't convey that in the first. They didn't convey that in the first series well enough.
But like 3 months after his show ended, they had the Defenders, and it's very obvious that like, oh, Danny Rand is an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, that's the role he's been playing. And then as soon as you see that, then when you watch, like, you look at Iron Fist season 1, you're like, oh, no one, I don't think anyone thought this was, like, good writing. The big problem with that was all the secondary characters also had, like, really weird sort of mixed motivations, where it's like, you can't suddenly switch sides this easily as person X, but everyone sort of did that. But like the general narrative of like Danny Rand is an idiot makes sense of that series.
Yeah.
But I suppose at least with the Marvel stuff, series were coming out that were linked close enough with each other that you were kind of figuring stuff out. Whereas Telltale had so many different franchises.
Well, I mean, yeah, they were
such a disparate like release schedule. You know, and The Walking Dead is the one series that they've obviously pushed more than anything else. It was the most success that they seemed to had based on
also their
like
real
sales numbers that have
success.
been released.
Like they did They had Sam and Max and stuff beforehand, but it wasn't until Walking Dead season 1 where it's like, oh, your shitty engine can make interesting stories that people give a shit about.
Yes.
Exactly. I think since then they just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped.
Yeah.
And even something like Batman didn't have the power to pull them back up. You know, a very well established, very well loved franchise.
Yeah.
Didn't quite do enough to lift them out of whatever rut they did.
So I didn't even start like episode 1, even though it's free on Steam, because
it was free on PlayStation Plus not that long ago.
But so episode 1 has even Life is Strange is the same. Like these type of episodic games on Steam tend to be episode 1 free, then buy fast.
That's usually when I jump in.
But like with Batman, I was like, I know both of you kind of enjoyed it, and I was like, I still don't. There's not enough there for me to think it matters.
But again, there wasn't really for me, because I think I finished episode 3 and I haven't. Something else came out, drew me away from it.
Right, but I mean, I didn't even start episode 1 based on even the fact that you and Lucy kind of were like, "Oh, it's okay," but it's like you're kind of just saying it's okay.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
And so for me, it was like I know I can play
I quite
episode
enjoyed
1.
it for the record, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to play this, but
Yeah, and I think the thing
enjoyed
is like I can play episode 1 free, but I know that like it kind of feels like the way they've marketed it is like there's no point in just playing one episode. So giving me episode 1 free doesn't mean a lot because the narrative makes me will mean I will want to finish the game, and so if I'm not convinced on 1, I'm not convinced on 3.
Yeah, you mean you don't want to buy it for £40?
This weird paradoxical like idea of like you're giving me episode 1 for free, but I still won't start it.
Yeah, you know what's
the point?
You know what's bizarre? Like after this Telltale thing went down, they put out like Batman Season 2 on the Switch, and Batman Season 1 was like £40, and the Season 2 is like £40 as well. It's like, what on earth? It's like games of £15.
18 quid at most.
Yeah.
On PlayStation.
I mean, I've played a handful of demos on the Switch lately.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've kind of been pretty Switch light because Switch taxed. Like I don't play enough video games, obviously.
Yes.
And so like I think I have the wrong system for being casual in the sense of like I can't easily just randomly pick up a game and play. I think like so functionally the Switch is great for being casual because you can take it places if you want.
Play in
but
bed.
if I'm just trying to like pick up a game and play, it's 20 quid.
Hey, there's a lot of games on the Switch that are under 20 quid and Hollow Knight.
You need to tell me which ones to buy.
Hollow Knight and nothing else. And then set it alight, set the Switch alight, throw it in the garbage. Just play Hollow Knight.
Yeah, that's the only thing you need.
Yeah. I think I might try and sell it instead.
The name of the developer on G30 is Kovalov Ivan, I think.
Ivan Kovalov?
Okay.
Or it could be Ivan Kovalov.
He sounds like he has once been an enemy of Jason Bourne, but I know that's just prejudice.
I read those books.
Are you trying to play whilst we...
Yeah, and it's giving static off, so I'll stop doing that.
Well, go and tweet Ivan or Kovalov. Ivan, possibly, and tell him Android is superior.
Yeah, tell him you like his game and you...
Yeah, I will. I should do that, actually.
We need to droid it up.
Yeah, I will.
Do it. Let's move on to my... What I've been playing.
Oh, yeah, one game. Yeah.
Before you say that, I'm just going to say... I've been playing Luigi's Mansion 2, finally, so I'll probably talk about that next week.
Yes.
Yeah. That's it. But Nintendo makes fun games.
A good thing to get to.
No, they don't. Nintendo's one of the worst publishers known to man. Made a bunch of baby bullshit. Come on now.
It's such good baby stuff. It's like it's scary but not scary, so that's
what if a man went down a tube and then got a raccoon tail? It's all nonsense. It's
talking about Donut County.
Aren't most things fucking nonsense?
No. Most games make clear clinical sense. Like slappers. GoldenEye slappers. It makes perfect sense.
Can't be our job though, it's cheating.
That's racism. Sorry.
Maybe.
So you played a game that was
I played a game called Megaquarium.
Which game?
Yes.
Or is it a experience?
It's definitely a game.
Okay.
It's like a building and management simulator where you build an aquarium.
And
not in terms of just a box full of water in a room with some fish in, but an entire...
But a glass box.
Publicly...
Sea Life Centre.
Exactly, like the Sea Life Centre. Yes, exactly like that. Where you
Is it like an aquarium but mega-sized?
If you want it to be.
So, there's a campaign. Whilst there's a sandbox mode, there's also a campaign. Okay. And the campaign builds you up through, the first level is quite basic, it's quite small. You might only have 5 or 6 tanks with a very limited amount of fish, which don't have very many requirements. and it builds you up. And I haven't finished the campaign. I'm on the final level, which essentially says, here's a space, go wild with everything you've learned. And it's almost like sandbox mode. You start at like rank 5, which has a certain amount of fish and equipment unlocked, and then have to build your aquarium up. So patrons come in and they give prestige points, which rank you up, which allow you to unlock more things, or they give you nature or science points based on the fish that are in the tank, and these points either unlock new fish or unlock new technology.
Right.
And you just build and manage, then you build a little bit more,
Right.
and then you manage some more, and it just does that repeatedly. But I don't know whether it's just the way I've kind of approached it. It's a very, very chilled game. I've never felt any sense of tension or haste.
Right.
I never really feel like, suddenly one of your tanks, a warning will pop up and say, you haven't got enough filtration in this tank. And you go, okay, brilliant, I'll add another filter, or I'll add a slightly bigger filter.
Yeah.
Or
So
one
it's
of
not
the
like
more advanced
the
filters.
warnings don't come like with a shit, if you don't figure this out in 20 seconds you fail kind of thing.
Well, it's not even that. You can pause the game. So you can pause it, you can build
what
whilst
kind
you're
of fish have
paused.
pause?
All of them. Catfish, mate.
Catfish. And dogfish.
So it's I
That's why
find it
we're
to
all
be
friends.
I find it to be quite a nice, relaxing experience whilst I'm working. There's not much urgency to it, so I can kind of be sat here, and I've been working on a project where it's in the early stages. I'm doing a lot of drawing at the moment, so I've got my pad in front of me. I'm doing a lot of drawing, and I can have it on the screen and let it tick over. And actually, when you have some kind of alert, so not necessarily with the needs of the fish, but say
Sorry.
when you upgrade, or at least when you've researched the fish and you need to
The
pick
needs
the
of the
next
school outweigh the
Yes.
needs of the one.
Oh, when you need to pick the next fish to research or the next item to research, the game, a big pop-up comes up on the screen to tell you that you've researched it. You can now put it in your displays, and the same as when like an employee levels up. And they have a point to be able to put into like either feeding or fixing, maintenance sort of thing, or cleaning, those sorts of things. So you get enough kind of pop-ups that it can kind of be on in the background a little bit whilst you're sort of keeping an eye on it, just to make sure things are sort of ticking over quite nicely. A new fish comes in, you put in a new display.
It's actually a game. It's just like a really slow-paced game.
Oh, it's super slow-paced.
Sort of. So because there are definitely things which are like overindulgent screensavers where like there are things you can do but they don't matter, but it sounds like there's actually a gameplay loop. It's just in a really slow pace.
Very much. And again, because you can pause it whilst you sort of build, what you can also do is whilst it's paused, you can put fish into the tank to see like what level of filtration or heat that they need to then kind of build appropriately, and place your tank in a certain place, which allows that then the machines to be placed behind it, and allow
are
for
these
sort of a lot of
calculations done while things are paused, or do you have to like live them?
No, well,
so I say this because like I played the Jurassic World game that I played. One of the things that was sort of frustrating was like you had to like throw dinosaurs into a thing and then just observe them for a bit to understand where their like social levels, etc., were. So there was this like artificial loop of, like it turns out this type of dinosaur always needs 3 friends, but the only way for me to find out is to try putting it in a pen by itself with other animals and then find out X. But then if I knew that, I would just make 3 of them at one time. It never would be a thing. So like it wasn't like a good gameplay loop. It was kind of like a epistemic one. Like once you understood where this thing would like land on the social schedule, you would just be fine. And so it seems like if this was a thing where you put a thing in a tank while things were on pause and you got all the levels, then it seems to be the same idea of like, oh, okay, before I hit on pause, I know I need to do X, Y, Z.
So you get a lot of the information even before you put, say, like the fish in the tank. So you'll know that it will either be, the fish will be a certain size.
Right.
Some fish grow over time, so you know it can grow to a certain size. You know the food type that it likes. You know whether it will eat or damage other fish, or, you know, corals or crustaceans. You know, whether it wants to be in a heated or a chilled tank. So you get a lot of information straight off to then kind of put your fish in. And I think the idea is to kind of play around with those different combinations of animals, and the different combinations give you you know, like bonus points and things. So if you've got a patron walking around, they walk up to a tank, and say you've got the same type of fish in 2 tanks, you won't get the bonus, or you won't get the points on the second tank, or at least that's how it sort of seems like, because they've already seen that fish, so they don't need to see it again.
It's very similar to like the Jurassic World type version of like the idea of like people value uniqueness.
Yes,
So,
yeah, very much, yeah.
So in Jurassic World, or whatever that game was called, if you took a picture of a dinosaur you've already taken a picture of, you got a penalty for repeated species, which I think actually is bullshit, because a really cool picture of a Triceratops, even if I've seen a picture of a Triceratops, still is fucking cool. I think it's the same idea where they're like making this like novelty really matters, like as a value in the base idea of this game, which probably doesn't reflect real people, but that's fine.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, so when you say like it's very laid back, and so all these alerts like very preemptive, like you need more filters, please put a filter on this tank. Is there nothing like you know, like I don't know, a tank just burst, or this fish ate all the other fish, or someone slips on a puddle? Is there nothing like that?
No, you there's no sort of element of tanks kind of like bursting. Equipment you have will always just require some maintenance. They will never just stop. And obviously you've got to have enough staff to be able to maintain all of that and to feed all of your fish. But yes, some fish can eat other fish, but you always get there's a little email system in there as well. So when a fish has grown in size, you'll get a little email which will say this fish has got this much bigger and will now eat fish of this size, or coral of this, crustaceans of this size, sort of thing. So you kind of think, well, I need to just have a quick look in the tank to double check what the size of all of the other fish are in there. Okay, this one is going to be eaten in the next few days. I'll take it out and put it somewhere else. So you have time. As I say, there's no kind of no real sense of urgency to this game at all, which I'm loving at the moment. And it allows me
the appropriate thing for this type of game, which is kind of like, what if a screensaver was a really laid back game?
Yeah, completely. I
think there's you know, space for like all kinds of like management sims. Some that
definitely,
you know, things always go wrong.
Yeah,
like I don't know, did 2 Point Hospital do that? I know you played quite a lot of.
No, 2 Point Hospital was a bit more like firefighting, a bit more reactive.
Like
you know, something would happen and you'd have to deal with it.
And
you don't always have the thing to kind of deal with it. So
so this sounds like it's on the other scale, end of the scale.
Very much. It's
I think
I would say that
it seems like I mean, when you're doing work all day, there's the idea of like the mindless clicker games. Which is like, I need a break, point at this. But it seems like this is the like more satisfying way to scratch that itch, which is I'm still like doing a thing, but I don't have to like focus on it. And
definitely.
my focus goes back to work, I'm not immediately fucked on this, or I led astray because the whole pacing is really laid back.
I mean, it is completely, and I think for me, this is a game that will get me to do that. And I think I've been doing some drawings. Like, right, I'm just gonna concentrate on this a little bit. It does have a fast forward mode, so it can go at like double speed.
Oh, good. Okay, so like if you want to focus on it, there's a way of making those decisions crop up.
Exactly. So that, I mean, there's two sides to that. So the first side is that for me, it satisfies a spatial planning need.
Yeah, true.
I can work on a project and it might be a small extension for someone, and it's just going to be a kitchen. Brilliant. Okay, I can smash that up pretty swiftly. Suddenly, I've got a game where it's a big open room, and I can do a lot of spatial planning in, which is fun for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The other side of that is that, and I mean, it's not just the speeding up side, but it's a little bit janky. Especially when you speed up. I don't know whether it's just my machine, but I'm finding that you speed up, and if it's sped up for a couple of minutes and you're zoomed right out so you can see the entire kind of
as
area.
you would want to if you're like speeding it up.
Exactly. It starts to stutter quite significantly, where I have to pause it. It will then take a few seconds to catch up that I've paused it. If an alert pops up, I hit pause to see what it is and understand what I need to do, but it takes a little bit of time to catch up. So in this final level, which is just an open space, you can expand upon it, you can build what you want. You're starting at a low rank and you've got to get right to the top to get like the prized whale shark to appear in your aquarium. Whale shark's fucking massive. I don't think any aquarium's got a whale shark. But
depends how big it is, Aadil. It's mega.
Baby one, mate. Baby one. Stolen from the sea. I've been playing this final level on just regular speed.
Yeah.
Whilst it's been on in the background. The other levels have been a bit more faster paced. You've got objectives to hit. They come up a little bit more frequently than they do in this last level. Right. So unless you're playing kind of, if you're playing sandbox mode or this final level, then yes, it's a very chilled kind of experience which you can just have on in the background. And maybe the other ones you can have them on in the background, but you've got to be a little bit more aware, a little bit more reactive, slightly.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This game is the one that my sister got hooked on. EGX, not this year, the year before. It's in my Steam library.
I think I might own it as well. I should check.
Do it.
Probably do.
Shut up. Shut up. I don't own any video game. I don't play video games.
To be fair, more games released on Steam so far this year than you own in your library. So you're not doing too badly.
True.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably about a million.
It's thousands. It's thousands. It's multiples of thousands more than your multiples of thousands of games.
How long did
I'm only at 1,400 or something.
Only.
Exactly. Like 7,000 games released on Steam this year.
Wow.
Really? That's so shitty.
How long did the campaign take?
Garbage.
I've not played Sandbox. I've only played the campaign.
How long did that say?
I can't bring up Steam because it will kill our video recording, but
it's already wreaking havoc on my particular stream, and I apologize.
Yeah, I think I'm at about 20, maybe 22 hours, 23 hours, but some of that is passive play.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not all constant on the screen.
Yeah.
And I don't
have a Megaquarium. I have Megaton Rainfall, which is a VR game.
Okay.
I have Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition. That's my only Mega game.
That's your Megas. It's all the Megas.
Yeah.
No Mega Drive collection.
Yeah.
No, that was on the PS something, which now, because I don't play PS somethings, it's just a dead cost.
That would have been under
Steam as well.
S on Steam.
I think I own Golden Axe on Steam.
Huh.
I don't care.
Where does this rank in?
I doubt I ever put money into the Xbox and the PS and networks because I don't think I use them enough, and so they will die for me. And all of those gains of games mean nothing because I haven't kept up, and that's exactly what everyone warned me about. But I still do nothing.
It's fine. In a couple of generations, it will just be an app on your smart TV with a giant library of games to play, which you don't own because you've got to buy them again because it's a new generation of things.
Hey, not on Xbox. I can go back and play Symphony of the Night whenever I want.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, but you still have to own it.
Tomorrow is the day.
Yeah, but I got it with free of cost.
someone's going to pay me money for my Xbox.
Yes.
That's it. You can
And
go
then
on
I'll
Steam
be done
binge.
with the Xbox. The best part, though, is that like,
You can pre-order Streets of Rage 4.
Quantum Dream.
stuff.
What was it called?
Quantum Break.
Yeah, that's
No.
the one. Yeah,
Oh.
Quantum Break,
All right, go.
Recore,
Alright,
Horizon Australia.
Sorry.
All those games I still own because I have them on PC because I got them on Xbox. And so, like,
Yeah.
selling me Xbox was like, oh, it turns out the games I was kind of like, oh, I want to finish them at some point are exactly the games that I still have access to on my PC because I own them on my
That's a
Xbox.
very nice benefit. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's how. Yeah, it's so good. Like, just I bought this game on Xbox, like Thimbleweed Park. You can play it on PC. I'll play it on PC because it's a point and click game. Ace. Yeah, it's really good. But so Ben, where does out of all of the management sim games you've played this year, where does Megaquarium sit currently?
Ooh, what games have I played
Good
this year? What
answer.
management games have I played this
Jurassic
year?
World?
No, I didn't play
I
the
played
Jurassic Park one.
He didn't.
Adil
You
played
did?
that one.
Oh, you
I
didn't.
played it. I was.
No, it's like-
I played a
Ah.
game. See?
Adil essentially said it's not great, and it was like 45 quid.
Yeah, it's
so
not
Yeah,
No.
my mistake. I thought you played that as well, Ben.
I'm pretty sure my
Which
review
one?
will be it's not great and
Jurassic
expensive,
World.
and then I played it and I'm like, yep, it's not great and it's expensive. And then it's like, cool.
that's it. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
What have I played this year? I don't think I played many management
Two
games
Point
this year.
Hospital. Well,
2
I
Point
thought
Hospital?
it was. Well, it's me and my hazy memory because I thought you also played Jurassic World.
No, I definitely played 2 Point Hospital.
Yeah. Might
I
be
mean,
another
did you
one.
ever play,
I-
I mean, did you play Theme Hospital when it was like free on Origin or anything?
No, I think Lucy, you and I were chatting about 2 Point Hospital. I haven't played Theme Hospital for a while.
No.
I'm pretty sure that was kind of one of my qualifiers when I started talking about 2 Point Hospital.
Perhaps, yes.
I've not played Theme Hospital for a while.
Have you played any of the expansions of City Skylines? I know you played a bunch of City when
I
first
did play a
came out
bunch of
2 years
vanilla
ago.
City Skylines, but I never really like the weather one came in. There was a
Yeah.
snowy one which came in. There was like a green technologies one that came in. I don't think I played any of them apart from anything that may have been free. City Skylines was good, but it's a very different experience to Megaquarium. I mean, it's hard to kind of rank them because they are different experiences.
yeah.
So it sounds like Megaquarium is mostly like almost meditative. Like pseudo games, where I say pseudo in just case of pacing, not like it's not a game,
Yeah.
but like what we're used to needing to do, you don't need to do at that speed.
Completely.
Which I
yeah.
really enjoy, and I think like I brought up clicker games earlier because I think they're trying to like live in that space of not really being a game but occupying a certain amount of time, and I think where they fail is the artifice in being slow.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like what you're saying is Megaquarium is a slow game that's okay with being slow while still being a game.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
if you didn't succeed at the game part, you could still enjoy the slow sort of experience part. Is that
Yeah.
fair?
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I miss management sims. I wish I had. It just
they
seems like
take
I'm
so
not
much
getting
time,
any.
mate.
Yeah, problem. But if something has a campaign
all
and I'm
we have to
more
do is all play
inclined to
Sim
play
Ant
it.
for a week.
yeah.
Because who didn't like Sim Ant?
Who didn't?
But also, while you play it, you should watch Ants and a Bug's Life, and then we can like do an.
I played the
episode
Bugs
of
Life game
podcast.
on PS1.
Christ.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Bugs Life. It was a platformer, wasn't
What
it?
year is this?
1997.
Yes, thank you, because that makes
Was that really when those all
Oh,
came
you
out?
say so
Possibly.
either it's 2018 and I'm 35, or it's 1997 and I'm definitely not. So let's go with the one that's easier for me to process.
Hooray! Well, it's a good place to finish. To all go and think about our mortality.
Yeah.
Or morality, keeping fish
Oh,
in a
don't
small
give me that.
box.
Yeah. How's the ethical?
Not the most sort of moral thing to do,
I'm
is it?
teaching realism and normativity this terms. So, like, being a realist or an anti-realist about morality is the thing that I'm trying to teach undergraduates. Don't get me started about whether
Sounds
there is or is not a moral term.
There's nothing moral about being an undergraduate. Nothing.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's
so
true, yeah.
Lucy, what's your favorite beer?
The Brewdog one. Quench Quake. I wasn't a fan of the Aldi one.
Brewdog versus Aldi. It turns out Brewdog wins. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. It's not too stiff of competition, really.
Yeah,
is it?
so I'm saying, did it make you quake?
No, but
Okay, so
I did it.
live up to its name.
I did enjoy it. It's a good beer. It's one I'd reach for again. Definitely.
That was my follow-up, was just like, would you pursue it?
Yes, not pursue, but
Ben.
I would pick it up again.
Okay.
It's like, if I saw
Come back!
Yeah.
Ben, you had that one
Totally
and a
pick it
different
up.
one.
Go on, Lucy. What was your last point there? Just
No, that's it. How was the crate beer?
Yeah, it was because she was
That was
trailing off, and then you're like, "Hey, Lucy, trail off explicitly." That's not how.
I'm also picking the Quench Quake this week. The crate beer was fine. That's about it. The Quench
Did it
Quake
make you
was a
quake?
nice. Like I kept drinking it, and I'm just everywhere, all over the place. I've never been in an earthquake. That would be a horrific thing to actually experience.
It's a
So
hurricane. I've never been in an earthquake. It literally stole the jacket off of the pullover jacket off the back of me, and then the
Jeez.
jacket flew into the air, never to be
Oh
seen.
my god.
fucking hell.
Yeah. I was on a family trip with an aunt and uncle who was with me and my cousin and my other cousin, and they sent us across the street from the motel to the convenience store to get milk for the tea.
Was this in Canada?
No, this was in the we went down to Florida.
Okay, makes sense.
And it was like,
home
it's
of the
really
hurricane.
windy. We're in the middle of a hurricane,
Hurricane.
as they said. But it's like, you want milk for your tea, cool. And then on the way back, we jaywalked across the highway, bought fucking milk, jaywalked back, and then I had a pullover Charlotte Hornets rain jacket, and
I can just see you
and the wind ripped it off of me, and then suddenly it was no raincoat. It's like, I'm getting soaked by rain. This is preposterous. And it was like, yeah, we bought you milk. I guess I don't have a raincoat anymore.
Oh, yeah,
Anyway,
Quench Quake. Wins.
so the Quench Quake, or whatever the fuck it's called, was good, but not maybe quakey.
Not quakey, but a nice, easy sour.
Yeah.
How about you, dude? The cold brew and the Jaipur.
Yeah, I think it's the cold brew. The Jaipur was really interesting. Oh, sorry, it was really simple. It did what it said it was going to do, but did nothing more than that.
Lucy has frozen, yes.
Yeah,
in an
I'm glad you said that, because she's
excellent
frozen,
pose.
wide eyes and curiosity in a way that's not really normally Lucy-like. And they happen to be describing this this beer was okay. Oh, there we go. Lucy's back, without that. Yeah, so the Jaipur was interesting, but it could be it was just oh, this was surprising given its definition. While the cold brew had some things going on, what I thought was super interesting was that it was a really easy to drink coffee beer. It didn't have sort of the malty, biscuity sort of weightiness of a coffee beer, which I think is perfectly in line with the idea that it was made from a cold brew rather than a regularly brewed coffee. It has that idea of refreshing but not. So I thought it really maps well to what it's trying to do. Nice. I'm not super enamored with it, to be honest. I think it's usually when I like a coffee beer, I like some sort of lingering taste, and it's super light in that sense.
Yeah.
So it's, in a way that was surprising, but it's the better beer.
Yeah.
Good.
Your hurricane destroyed everything on my computer. Everything.
Sorry.
The computer couldn't deal with that.
Describing a hurricane from literally 20 years ago. I was 14, so it was 21 years ago when this happened.
Jeez.
I'm so
Yeah.
old.
So that's
Yeah.
it from us this week. If you want to get hold of us, we are at tankedup_cast on Twitter, tankedupcast@gmail.com on the emails. I would read out the Discord server link, but I'm not going to. But if you want to talk
I
to
would,
us,
but I won't. Is that what
Exactly.
you literally just said?
I think I was meant to say I could, but I won't.
Anyway,
I drank too much rum before we started.
I was at Brewhouse in Clifton and had 4 pints
What was I
before
saying?
got on
Where am
the
I
thing.
going? Discord.
Yeah. Join the Discord. It's on
Join the
our
Discord.
Facebook
We've opened
page.
it up.
There's a link, so it doesn't matter what we say.
That's right. Go to the link on Facebook. Yes, there we go. Chat to us. You can come and join the little tanked up chat and chat to us about beers and games and whatever the fuck you like, really. But do that
Maybe
as
even
well.
play games with us if we actually play games.
That's true. We do need to play games.
I'm not making that promise.
So I mean the new students at the University of Bristol. There's a couple of like super like Overwatchy players, and I'm like, I
Okay.
don't fucking know about Overwatch at all.
There's a hamster.
But I got a free copy. I mean, I own. I'm selling the Xbox, but I own it on the PC. And it's like, oh, I could play this game. So, anyways,
Just hearing Overwatch, I just felt very tired.
right? I think we're too old a podcast to deal.
Yeah, I
with
think so.
Yeah.
Adil, if
Those
people do
kids.
want to play Overwatch with you, how do they get hold of you to do so?
I mean, they can't. I think I'm. Oh, sorry. On Blizzard, I'm at the Omni 2368. I think is what it is. Don't quote me on those numbers, but it's 4 numbers and it starts with a 2-3. I'm all, at the Omniarch on all the things except Twitch, in which case it's at the _Omniarch, but I don't use it, so don't worry about it. Also, if you want to play Switch with me, that's cool. Contact me at the Omniarch on other things, and I'll give you my Switch code. I am playing games a little more often these days. Primarily, you can find me on Steam, though, and obviously Twitter and whatnot. But that's me.
The things. Nice, nice. Lucy, how do people chat to you? How do they play games with you if they want to? Which you don't want them to.
I would, but I just don't. I don't play games online.
No one plays games. This is the Beer and Video Games podcast where we avoid games.
Yeah, I mean, if you want my drivatar to crash into you on Forza, Juicy Loose 9 on Xbox, PlayStation, Untapped, Steam, and that's about it. Yeah. My drivatar will cut you up. Twitter, it's at tankeduplucy.
Nice. If you want to talk to me or do things with me, I'm at Nova_47.
Here's how you know I'm old. I play Forza Horizon by myself and I listen to the classical music station.
Oh, fucking so
It's a classical music station.
Actually,
And that's all
my
I listen
biggest
to.
complaint,
all
going
black.
back to the GTA stations things, is that the classical music station in GTA 4 also got nixed.
Really?
Yeah. And it's
That's
like, oh no,
weird.
I love playing GTA games with classical music because it's like
You're just gunning
what if
everyone
Quentin
down to classical
Tarantino
music.
was let loose on a shitty video game, essentially, right? Like, it's like, what if we were being pretentious about, or like Guy Ritchie, like I know it's not a good thing, but it also scratches an itch.
That's good. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
What's great about Forza Horizon 4's radio, classical FM radio, is that the radio host is just like an old curmudgeon, just like me, and is just complaining about all the kids racing.
All the kids driving
Oh
around.
god, I'm gonna have to replay that game with that race.
Brilliant.
I don't know if it's on free. I'm playing 4, but yeah.
4 is the new one, or no? 4 is the
4's the
Australia
newest one that came out. No,
Oh.
4's the one that came out like...
Oh shit!
He's got a
weeks ago.
super British accent.
Yeah, and like middle-aged man, he's like, oh, those children driving. those
Where is 4 based?
Britain.
In the UK.
Oh, I didn't know. I mean, I don't know what video games do. I'm an old.
I don't know what they do.
Mostly,
I'm-
is it mostly Scotland and the north?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do want to get back to it because my Game Pass runs out on the 30th of October. So
Okay.
I want to get back to it. But yeah,
I think I have
super
some
relaxing
Xbox
game.
credit. I
Just
might
like
use it all
Just like
for
Megaquarium.
Horizon 7 or whatever we're at because I like racing games and I can play it on the PC.
Just get the Games Pass. My Games Pass for a month.
Yeah, but
Low barrier
Games
to
Pass
entry.
work with PC.
Yeah.
I thought it was just Xbox.
I don't know.
I'm selling my Xbox tomorrow, Lucy. That's like a
Oh,
thing
yeah.
I've established on literally on the podcast. I've
That's
established
true.
I'm trying
Hook
to
it up.
get rid of this thing.
Hook it up, buy it now,
No.
download it on the PC,
Yeah.
and then get rid of the Xbox.
No, I think so. So I have
I don't know if it
some
works
credit
like that.
on the Xbox.
Not
So
clue.
Xbox Store. I'm pretty sure I can buy all the Microsoft Studio games are buy it on Xbox and you can get it and it'll work on PC. So I'll just use my credit for that.
Sign
That's
up for Microsoft Rewards.
It's either that or I buy fucking
Hollow
The Crew
Knight.
2.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man? No.
Spider-
I'm going to borrow
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man from you, and then I'm going to finish Spider-Man, and I'll probably sell my PlayStation.
That's a good shout. It's probably a good place to finish for this week. The final
Games
thing I'll
for
say is
babies, sell your systems.
that's a good thing to finish.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes. Bye.
No.
Playing all the
Excellent.
baby games.
Ah.
Is that a DS?